Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my new Into the Dead Our Darkest Days loot tutorial. If you want to know what a loot tutorial is, I have finished the game on hard and normal multiple times. I have finished the Spell Zone on hard and normal within the last 3 days. I have learned a heck of a lot about this game, but because of memory, I still ask some people in my chat, how many lockpicks do I need to bring to this place? How many bolt cutters do I need at this place? Where do I get the components? And although I could take a shortcut and just go to the place with components, I am not that kind of player. I do not take shortcuts. I do not try and make anything easier for myself. If I literally just try to save all the survivors and I don't focus on looting every single point of interest on the map, I could probably save everyone on hard difficulty very, very quickly. Because there isn't anyone to save at the RMK building. There isn't anyone to save at the plaza. There isn't anyone to save at the hospital. So you can skip a lot of the dangerous points of interest if you just focus on saving people and getting them to the escape plan. Okay, that's extremely easy, and I could probably do that on hard difficulty really, really quickly. But I'm not that kind of player. I always put myself in the 5% or 1% of players. I like mastering everything. So what I'm going to do today is help you and help myself at the same time. I am going to make videos where I loot certain points of interest. And then when I'm done with the video and I've uploaded the video, or while I'm rendering the video and editing the video, I'm going to make notes of how many resources I get at every single point of interest. I know a lot of the resources are random, like the guns, but there are a lot of resources that are not random. A lot of resources are set. Like, you usually know you're going to get a lot of wood at Old Ballad. You usually know you're going to get quite a lot of stuff at the Hitch Post. You know what you're going to find at the Wash and Dry. So I want to make a list of exactly what I find everywhere, even if it changes in future updates. But that's not going to, that's not going to be the end of the world. And while I do that, I want to begin with a starting pair that I've never really played for a long time. I did start a hard playthrough with this pair, but then the update came out and I had to cut that playthrough short. But luckily in the next update, they will give us ways to have multiple playthroughs. I'm really looking forward to the next update. But in any case, to make a long story short, I am going to be writing down all the loot that we get at every single point of interest. I'm going to waste a lot of time doing it like a lot of people, like the majority of people do it. When they loot a place, they put all the loot at the entrance, which I feel wastes a heck of a lot of time, and it doesn't feel natural to me at all. But I am going to do it like that so that I can count the loot, see exactly how much loot is at each place, and make it easier for me to make notes of how much loot is at each place. I'm going to make physical notes on it on my computer, and I'm going to make notes in the description for you guys as well, so that you know exactly what loot to find at what place. And then at the end of the loot, I'm also going to write down how many lockpicks and bolt cutters we need. I did do that with one of the playthroughs, so I can probably just go do that, to those videos, or I can probably go to the ultimate guide and just check what I wrote down there. But this is gonna, instead of writing down all the things that I saw, I'm just gonna write down what I did for the one video. The videos are going to be between an hour and 30 minutes, depending on how small the point of interest is. Like I can probably loot 38 Irving Drive and Value Records and Griffith and Sons in one video. But it's going to take me an entire video to loot the hospital. It's going to take me an entire video to loot the plaza and, bigger points of interest. So if you guys like that idea, do me a favor and click that like button. And if you want to learn everything that I'm trying to learn to master the game, then click the subscribe button for future videos. What I'm going to do now to make this as streamlined as possible is I'm going to start a new game repeatedly with the same starting pair until I get the tutorial starting location. Not because I want to make things easier for myself, but because I usually take the same route, I want to change that route, because what I saw with that route is the developers nerfed components. Like when you loot the highway, the US, the highway with the truck, Route 93, the cameras don't give you components anymore. So they've definitely made it difficult for you to get components. So that route that I take is not the most effective route to upgrade my stations as fast as possible. So I want to change that route a little bit, but I want to change it from the perspective of 38 Irving Drive, because no matter where they start me, I'm always going to go for 38 Irving Drive, because that's where my route starts. So just to save time and to make it more simple, I'm going to restart the game, which is probably going to be a lot of times until they start me where I can loot 38 Irving Drive immediately. I have restarted the game like 20 times in the past to see if I can get, to the tutorial location. But they always start me down at the meat processing plant, or up at the Jay's Motel, or at the Lanzo and Son place, the other shelter place. So I feel it's going to take quite a lot of restarts to do this, but this is the starting pair that I'm going to play with, and I'm going to play on normal. And yes, I made a few notes for you guys on the starting pairs. So one thing I've realized, I've saved all the survivors. I was like the first person to save all the survivors on YouTube when I streamed it. I could have saved all the survivors yesterday, but then I just took too long to get to the spill zone. But like I say, if I just focus on saving the survivors, I can definitely do it in hard difficulty. But one thing I realized about saving all the survivors, yesterday I saved all the survivors on stream, or the day before yesterday, to see what kind of curveballs all the survivors gives you. But I literally had 17 survivors in my shelter for 50 phases, and none of them gave me curveballs. Barb didn't give me the 6 knives. Penny didn't give me her secret location. Kirk didn't give me his AR stash. Nobody gave me anything. Not even Lester, did his curveball. So I had, the way they changed the curveballs is the curveballs are supposed to happen more regularly. But in any case, long story short, the curveballs are still far from where they need to be. Okay. The curveballs don't add to the game like they should. The developers intend the curveballs to let every playthrough feel different, but it doesn't. It just feels frustrating because the curveballs are all over the place. Sometimes you get a ton at the start and then nothing. Sometimes you get nothing, and then when you finish the game, then the curveballs only start. And I mean, when I finished the game, we're talking about 200 phases. I've never finished the game without playing 200 phases, because I loot every single location on the map. So when I've basically looted everything and opened up every escape plan and done everything there is to do, then the curveballs start. So the curveballs need a lot of work. But in any case, what I realized by saving everyone, it's just a waste. And it's a waste of time, and there's nothing special to it. It doesn't add to the gameplay. It's something that you do once and then you never do it again, because when you save everyone, you notice that you're playing with 4 or 5 people and the rest are just eating your food. Like, there's literally no reason to have more than 7 people in your shelter. Literally no reason. Okay. If you've got 20 people in your shelter, literally 13 of them are doing nothing except eating your food and using your beds and your communal centers. They're just sitting there. That's not fun. That's not interesting. So never doing that again. So I basically made a note for you guys. If you guys want to know who is worth saving, who really adds to your game, who really helps you, in your gameplay, then I made a note for you. When you start with the best pair, which is Daphne and Penny. Daphne and Penny is, of course, your starting pair. You need both of them because Penny is the killer. She's the one who clears a POI. Daphne is the doctor and the cook. She She does two things. She basically does what Frank does and Aubrey does, or Miguel. Joe loots because he has more loot space, and he's the guy to disassemble parts because he gets an extra part when he disassembles things. Then Bob can craft guns and melee weapons for cheaper. Christine produces carrots passively every turn, which is great. Isabel is also someone that can loot. And then Hudson is an expendable character. So when you play with Penny and Daphne, Penny will always be the person you send out to loot the place, because the chance that she's going to wake up a sleeper or the chance that she's going to get into trouble is very, very low. And then she does extra damage with sharp weapons in case something goes wrong. So Penny clears the place. Joe loots the place. And then Barb crafts all your melee weapons and all your ammo, all the ammo for cheaper. Christine produces carrots passively every turn. And then as soon as you save Kirk, you need to aim to go save Isabel at the Jensen Primary School, because then you can upgrade your workbench to the next level, and then you can send two people. So then you send out Penny to loot the one place, and Joe, or Penny to clear the one place, Joe to loot that place, and then Kirk to clear the other place, and Isabel to loot that place. Okay, so that they work in pairs. So actually, the most people you need if you play with Penny and Daphne is Joe, Barb, Christine, Kirk, and Isabel. That's 5 people. So you never need to have more than a total of 7 people in your shelter. Never. And then what I usually do is I save Hudson, because I don't care about Hudson. It's not that I hate Hudson. I just don't care about him. So Hudson usually never gets a deep wound or never dies, because when I play with him, I'm not careful. I don't really care about him. And for some reason, that makes him live longer than everyone else, because I'm relaxed when I'm playing with him and I don't really care what decisions I'm making. For some reason, he lives longer. And then when I play with Joe, I always worry about getting Joe hurt. And for some reason, Joe always gets hurt, So with me, the more careful I am, the more times the person gets hurt, and the less careful I am, the less he gets hurt. Okay. So you only need 7 people if you play with Penny and Daphne, and Hudson you can use as an expendable. Then the second best pair is, of course, Daryl and Leo. Now, Leo is your killer, of course, because he's tough and he does more damage with sharp and blunt weapons. Okay. So he is your clearer. He's the best clearer there is. And you don't need Kirk, because Leo is tough. The reason I use Kirk to clear points of interest is someone has to use the guns. And when you use the guns, you are eliminating Penny's superpower. Penny's superpower is to not wake up sleepers, to not get into danger. But as soon as you use guns, you are taking away her skill that makes her special. But with Leo, he's got no special skill. He's tough and he does more damage with melee weapons. So you can use guns with him because he's got the same thing as Kirk. He takes less damage in combat. And that's the only reason why when I play with Penny and Daphne, I use Kirk, because he takes less damage. But with Leo in my team, I don't need to save Kirk because I've got someone that can use guns. Now I only need someone that can use melee weapons effectively. So then I'll use Frank. Okay, it's not that Frank's going to cook every single day of his life. So as soon as you upgrade the workbench to level 2, you can use Frank to clear the place, and then Isabel to loot the place. And while Frank isn't clearing the place, he's cooking. Okay, then you don't need Kirk. So with Daryl and Leo, you only need Joe, Bob, Christine, Isabel, and you need Frank, so that Frank can be your other killer, if you could call it that way, your other clearer. Okay, so it's Leo, Daryl. Okay, but the people that you save is Joe, Bob, Christine, Frank, Isabel, and Hudson. Hudson is always optional. So if you look at it, Isabel, Frank, Christine, Bob, and Joe, again, just 7 people. With Penny and Daphne, you only need to save 5 people, which gives you a total of 7. Hudson is optional. And it's the same with Leo and Daryl. Then when we look at Sebastian and Diane. Okay, with Sebastian and Diane, like I forgot to say, Daryl's got no special. You know, Daryl doesn't help you to not save someone. Like, Daryl doesn't really do anything. And it's the same with Diane. She doesn't really do anything. It's not that she's a 0 on a contract, you know. She's a very positive person, and I've learned to fall in love with her. But the thing is, it's actually just Sebastian that helps, you know, with these guns. The fact that he can make weapon parts cheaper and the fact that he does more damage with firearms. So with Sebastian and Diane, again, you need to save Joe because you need a looter. You need to save Frank because you've got no cook. You need to save Barb because it doesn't help that Sebastian can only craft bullets for cheaper. You need someone that can craft melee weapons for cheaper as well, okay? Which none of them can do. So then you need Barb, you need Christine, you need Kirk because there's no one that takes less damage. So you still need Kirk. You need Isabel, and then you need Hudson as a expendable character. But again, he's optional. So even with Sebastian and Diane, you only need to save Joe, Frank, Bob, Christine, Kirk, and Isabel. Okay, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, you only need 7 characters. Then when it comes to Hector and Kayla, again, he can get an extra component when dismantling items, but that's never going to cancel Joe. Okay, just because you've got Hector doesn't mean you don't need Joe, because Joe is your looter. The fact that Joe gets an extra component when he dismantles things is a good bonus, but it's difficult to loot with Joe when he's supposed to dismantle stuff. So actually Hector and Joe works very, very well together, because every single time Joe has to go loot and you've got things to dismantle, you can use Hector instead of Joe. Okay, and what makes Hector great is he uses half the resources to barricade the base. So if you want to last as long as possible, Hector is the way to go. So if you look at Hector and Kayla doesn't do anything, you know, really that helps the base except for lockpicks. You don't need a ton of lockpicks. So the amount of resources he saves you by crafting 2 lockpicks for the price of 1 isn't that big. But the fact that you can't carry anything is quite bad as well. But as soon as you save Joe, then it evens out, because Hector's going to barricade all the time. You're probably going to use Kayla to clear the places, which isn't great, but it's your only option. And then you're going to use Joe to loot the places. Okay, so with Hector and Kayla, you're going to need Joe to loot. You're going to need Frank to cook and to be the guy who does more damage. So because Frank and Kayla both can't carry a lot, you're probably going to send Frank out instead of Kayla out. Okay, so Frank is going to replace Kayla with the clearing. Then you always need Bob, you always need Christine, then you need Kirk, because you've got no person with a tough skill that can use firearms without dying quickly. So you're going to need Kirk and you're going to need Isabel. Okay, so when we look at Hector and Kayla, it's Joe, Frank, Barb, Christine, Kirk. So it's Joe, Frank, Bob, which is 3. Christine, Kirk, and Isabel, which is 6. Okay, so Hector and Kayla are the only starting pair where you actually need 8 people in total, because you need to save 6 other people to be effective at surviving. And then again, Hudson is optional. And then for the last pair, guys, I never play with this pair. Not only because Tracy's pregnant, but because Wayne, I don't play with someone just because they look cool. I mean, Leo looks cool. That's why I play with Leo. Penny looks cool. A lot of people look cool. Okay, he looks cool, but he just counters himself. What I mean by counters himself, he's the only survivor that needs to get hit. Okay, he needs to get damaged. Gains, look there. Gains the adrenaline state from damage, which boosts morale. You physically have to make mistakes. You have to play badly to let one of his skills activate. You have to take a risk and every time you get hit, you've got a risk of a deep wound. Of course, I don't think the developers thought about this when they created him, but you don't want to get hit in this game, because if you get a deep wound, you can lose the character. So his first skill is 0. It's actually a negative. You don't want to get hit. You don't want to get infected. You don't want to die from a deep wound. His second skill is 0, because apparently he's the only one that's willing to drink the moonshine. Everyone else gets sick of the moonshine. And then his restless state means he loses. The only reason you want him to get hit is to boost morale. His adrenaline state just boosts morale. But every time you don't send him out, he loses morale. So he cancels himself out. And then Tracy doesn't add anything. She doesn't drink alcohol. And who the heck wants to send a pregnant woman out into the world? Okay? So in any case, I never play with Tracy and Wayne. But if you ever played with them, you probably need 8 survivors again. Because you haven't got a cook, you haven't got a tough person, you haven't got a skilled person, you haven't got someone who does more damage. You've got nothing. Okay? So, again, this will need 8. This will need the same people that you need with Hector and Kayla. Joe, Frank, Bob, Christine, Kirk, Isabel, and Hudson as an optional character. You don't have to, but I always take Hudson as an optional character because it just helps me to relax, not worry about the characters that I care about. And then if you don't want the airlift escape plan to go red, I've never seen that before, but if you kick the pilot out of the base, the airlift escape plan goes red. It's almost like the game has an error, because you can't finish that escape plan anymore without the pilot. I don't like red stuff on the screen. I don't like errors on the screen. So as soon as you go to the manor, save the pilot just so that the game doesn't make you feel like you did something wrong. Okay? Just save the pilot. And that's it. And then once you finish the spoil zone, Otto can give you secret locations in the spoil zone area. I haven't played with him long enough to see what secret locations he can point out to you. But that's literally a skill of his. He can give you secret locations in the spoil zone area or in that town area. And then he makes nice food. Okay, he makes really nice, tasty food. So then he replaces you as a cook. He takes the cook position, and he's a really nice guy. Nice, chubby, friendly guy. A little bit scared, but as soon as you've done the spoil zone and you go out, like if you don't escape and you just go back to the elevator and then go back to him, you can recruit him. But make sure that you take an extra, because when you kill Nora, you will get her hazmat suit. Okay, you will have another hazmat suit, whether you already got a hazmat suit, whether you got 1 or 2 hazmat suits, it doesn't matter. Even if you just got 1 hazmat suit, as soon as you kill Nora, you will get her special hazmat suit and her special weapon. So then you can wear her hazmat suit, so you look really, really cool. And then you can take the other hazmat suit with you when you go and talk to him again at the administration building. And then he'll join you, and then you can just move back into the normal map, and you can still wear the hazmat clothing, even if you're looting the police station, even if you're looting any of the other locations on the map. You can still wear the cool hazmat suits, which is quite cool. It looks cool. Makes you look like Iron Man or something like that. I don't know. It just looks cool. But in any case, if you guys are wondering what's the starting pair that we're starting with, it's Hector and Kayla. Except for doing a loot guide and writing down all the loot, that we can find, that's not a particular challenge for me. Like, writing down what loot you get at every single location, and how many lockpicks and how many bolt cutters you need isn't really a challenge. But what is fun is to see how long you can survive. What's the longest you can survive? Now, with Hector, your wood is going to last twice as long because he uses half the amount of wood. If you don't stay at a shelter for more than 4 days, the attacks will never get worse. So that will help your wood last for a lot longer as well. And then if you keep making water and you don't care about the meat, if you keep making water and you get Christine early, you will be able to go quite long. I don't know if the wood or the water is going to run out, because your carrots cannot run out with Christine. Christine literally produces 1 carrot almost every phase. Okay, it's insane. So you're never going to run out of carrots with Christine in your team, but you are going to run out of water at some point because you're going to run out of water bottles. Okay, so I don't know exactly how it works, but I'm going to see what's the longest I can survive. Not that you guys will have to watch all of it. As soon as we've looted every single location on the map and done every single escape plan, then I will end the series and I will show you guys the final episode way later when I can see that I'm not going to make it anymore. You know, I'll save that video for, you know, when I'm just like floating around. I mean, I could probably do it in one video, like when we've looted every single location and we've picked up every single little bit of loot and there's nothing more to loot on the entire map. Then we can always stay at the spoil zone and see if Otto discovers any new places. We can spend a lot of time at the meat place in the north, Lanzo and Sons Meat. I always forget the L name. I don't know. You know, you guys know what I mean. And if we stay there long enough, we can maybe get the keyline location to loot the secret keyline location. You know, and then I don't know, if we stay near Jay's Mostel for long enough, maybe Kirk's curveball is going to activate. But in any case, all I know is because the curveballs are so broken, you're going to have to play for a very, very long time to see any of the interesting curveballs. Okay. So what we can probably do is on the very last episode, when we don't need to loot anything, I just skip the turns. You know, I feed the survivors and I end the turns repeatedly until the wood runs out or until the water runs out, you know, and then see what is physically the longest that you can survive in Into the Dead Our Darkest Days version 0.6. If you've played perfectly, which means you never stayed at a location for more than 4 turns so that you don't lose wood unnecessarily, or you don't lose extra wood unnecessarily. And when you've looted every single item in the game, and when you've produced as much water as you can, and you've produced as much carrots as you can, you know, what is the max amount of days that you can survive on normal? I know if you go to custom difficulty settings and you set everything to easy, you can probably survive, I don't know, forever, because you can make it so that your barricades never get attacked. You know, you can make it so that your characters take extremely long before they get hungry. So I know if you go to custom settings and you, change the settings to extremely easy, like the easiest that you can make it, you can probably survive, I don't know, 1,000 days. But our test is going to be for normal. Okay. The default mode that the standard mode, according to the developers, okay, where everything is fair. Because on hard, it's not fair. They have more health, they do more damage, everything is super boosted for them, and nothing is super boosted for your characters, okay? So normal is the purest way to play this game, although when you are as experienced as I am, then hard is definitely where you find the most enjoyment because it challenges you. But normal can also challenge you. Trust me. The longer you survive, like the longer you take to get to the police station, if you wait until threat level 4 before you loot the police station, or before you do the spoil zone, or before you do any of the difficult areas, normal can still be interesting and challenging. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is basically just restart the game repeatedly until I get the tutorial area. Let's see where they're going to start us now. And they start us at the top. Yep, I can see this at the top. Let me just look at the map. Holy moly, no, they started us at the perfect location. Can you believe it? First time around. First time around. Holy moly. So I started at 319 Strider Drive. This is where I started, 319 Strider Drive. Okay, guys. This is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. Let's put the sound up. Let's get the party started. I mean, I thought I was going to spend an hour restarting the game with Hector and Kayla. But here we go. Our first area and our thumbnail for the video is going to be 38 Irving Drive. Now, because I put off all notifications, I don't exactly know what the screenshot key. So let me see if it's that one. I'm just going to go to Steam, view my screenshots. Is that it? Yes. Okay, so I know it's the left button. I don't need to press the right button. The right button, the right minus numpad is usually to remove the HUD in other games. So as long as I press the whatever button above tab, that's the screenshot. Okay, so if we look, Hector is tired, so we're going to go sleep with Hector. And then Kayla is not tired, so we're going to loot with her. And we're always going to start with, like we are at 319 Schreider Street. If you want to know what 319 Schreider Street has, then this is what it has. You get all the loot that is in this location. So this location has food. It has carrots and meat and junk food. It's got 3... I don't know if they start you with the basis plus the locations loot. I'll have to research that further. But for now, 319 Schreider has got quite a bit of loot. You know, it's got medikits, bandages, screws, duct tape, wood, metal, cloth, water, a knife, and a shovel, and 2 lockpicks. Okay, but I mean, that is not... All the loot we have now is not just from this location. I'm sure the game on normal gives you a little bit of stuff. Like, you're not going to find a makeshift knife here. You might find a shovel here, but you're not going to find a makeshift knife here. So this is an accurate representation of what this place holds. But we can, you can always start at another location and then come here with nothing and see exactly what the place holds. It's probably going to hold a lot of these resources minus what the game always gives you at the start, okay, which is sometimes random. But in any case, let's go to to my favorite location, 38 Irving Drive, or my favorite starting location. Now it says, very little base resources, very little weapons, very little food, and no medical supplies. Let's see if the guy that is responsible for this is correct. They basically say 0 medical items. It's like, let's say this is small, medium, I don't know. A little, normal, a lot. I don't know. In any case, a 1 out of a 3. A 1, a 1, a 1 on base resources, weapons, and food. And then a 0 on medical. Let's see how accurate that is. So I'm going to press E. I'm just going to need 1 lockpick there. I'm going to press R. I'm going to right click. And then I'm going to hold in R to start the mission. And then I better get the screenshot right for the first video. Okay, I think I got that screenshot. Okay, so let's see how accurate they are with their loot. Luckily, I don't have to store anything because this place is very small. You can grab it all. I think you can even grab everything with her. Even though she has limited loot, I'm sure you can grab everything with her. There's no one in here, so we don't have to worry. Except if you're playing hard difficulty, threat level 4, then there are a lot of zombies in here. But we're not starting on threat level 4, so we don't have to worry about that. And we're not playing hard difficulty. But like I said, I think she can carry everything. And then we'll analyze it. The telescope is what I like the most because it gives you Old Ballad, which gives you the trailer location. It gives you value records, which is very easy to loot, and it gives you Texway gas heart station, which is where Joe is. So definitely my favorite telescope in the game. Doesn't look like there's any medical equipment so far. So it looks like they were right with that. Only one zombie, only one walker to kill. You know, like one that you have to kill. There are a lot of sleepers, but literally only one zombie that you have to kill and one lockpick. And we can't carry everything because this weapon didn't break. But the weapon usually breaks, so we're just going to leave it here. So it gave us 2 weapons, which according to them is level 1 weapons. Okay, then it gave us 1 duct tape, 3 metal, 4 wood, which is quite a bit, but they still say it's level 1 base building materials. And then they said 0 medical, which they are right on. There are 0 medical items. And then the 4th one was... I can't remember the 4th one. But in any case, let's just get out of here. We only left the scissors here. Okay, so that tells us what we got from there. So, according to them, it was only a level 1 base resources. It gave us scissors and a hatchet, which is only level 1 weapons. It gave us 0 medical items, which they were accurate on, and food. They gave us like 2 meat and 2 vegetables and water. You know, which according to them is only 1 food. Okay, so we're getting an idea of what they mean with level 1. Well, I mean, level 1 means something. At least it means something. Okay? Now, I know here are components. So I actually want to get this side for the components. Now, most of you might think the best idea is to get Joe. But I don't need Joe because this place is very easy to loot. And I need to open up multiple shelters so I can move around a lot. And I don't want to move here too quickly because then I'm staying here too long before I open up the auntie's place. Okay? So we're going to go to value records immediately, but not with her. Not with her. We're going to let her sleep now. I mean, the chance that she's going to get hurt is the same as Hector getting hurt. There's nothing special about them. She's got a little chance to not get hit. But I mean, that doesn't really mean anything. So I'm just going to go loot value records quickly. Value records has very little enemies. And they're usually alone. Like noise doesn't mean anything. So it's not really necessary using silent weapons. And according to me, there's no lockpicks needed. Okay? So that's literally all I'm taking. So let's go see what this place has. I'm going to take a screenshot again, not for the thumbnail. Maybe I can make an Excel sheet with every place's starting text. You know, maybe I can do something fancy later on. Do like a blog, you know. Do like a blog guide. I've never done a blog guide, guys. Whatever. Let's go. Okay, so now we just hold R. Okay, value records. I think I got it. I think I forgot to click the screenshot already. I think he can probably loot everything here if I'm right. I didn't look at what they said, which is not good. But they probably gave you a lot of level 1, you know, loot stuff. Sometimes there's only 1 zombie, yeah? But I don't really care how many zombies are here. I'm ready for anything. There's literally one zombie here, which is very disappointing, but that's fine. I never run because you hurt your character when you run through a door by mistake, so I never ever run. And it's a bad habit to run. It just gets you into trouble. It's a bad habit. You can run at the shelter, just don't run at the points of interest. So this place is giving you quite a bit of loot. Okay, there's no closed door there, so I can run a bit here. Always stop before the edge. I've thrown people off a roof before, which is not very good. And then always go for the telescope. A lot of us loot a place and we never remember the telescope. We're like, oh, all the zombies are dead. Great, I can leave. No, you can't leave. Every single place has a telescope, which is very, very, very important. Okay. I don't think I'm going to be able to carry all this loot. But it doesn't really matter because I'm going to move here. But at least I can put all the loot in one location to see how much loot there is. So if I do this, then I can literally put all the loot in here just to see how much loot there is. No, I can't even fit all the loot in here. Okay. Go loot this. Pull it up. Okay, so that's full. So then I can put all the rest of the loot in here. Okay, so basically, food-wise, they gave us 1 junk food, 2 carrots, 2 meat, and that's about it. Oh, then, of course, 2 coffee beans as well. Medical stuff, not a lot. They gave us 1 medicine. And that's it. 1 medicine and that's it. And then with base building resources, they gave us 1 screw, 1 duct tape, 3 metal, 4 wood, 1 cloth. They gave us quite a bit of wood. Did they? Yeah, 6 wood. They gave us 6 wood. And a camera, which is quite a bit of components. So not bad with components. When it comes to building materials, not bad at all. Weapon-wise, nothing, because I brought the shovel, so no weapons. Food, not too bad. Quite a bit of building resources. I keep forgetting about the last one. Very little medical. They gave us grenade. That's that. Okay, I have to try and remember. Is there only 3 or 4 resources? I keep on remembering the base resources, the food, and the medical. But I'm forgetting about something. Definitely forgetting about something. But I mean, I want to keep the shovel, so I'll just basically take the building resources. Actually, I'm going to take everything. Yeah, actually, I'm just going to take everything. Okay. See that I would have been done. We would have been done with this place a long time ago, guys. That's why I say this inventory management wastes a heck of a lot of time. You guys just don't realize it because you copy other people, and you don't physically look at what the benefits are of doing something like this. Now, if I go for the beer, I am quite happy. So the beer is just going to be a waste. But what am I leaving here? I'm leaving a screw here, which is bad. I'll rather leave that. I don't need the coffee beans immediately. I don't think I need the medicine immediately. I definitely don't need the shovel. Okay, before I come and live here. So the pebbles isn't too bad. Okay, so that's what I'll leave here. I don't need to loot it again. I can just come back. You know, when I come and live here, I'll just get all the loot. So that is value records. Okay, you always want to barricade as soon as you've got about 3 barricades left. We've still got more barricades left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loot with him again. And Griffith and Sons is quite easy for me, but I know I have to come back. And that is not good. Looting a place where you know you're going to have to come back, but you don't have anyone to come back with is not a good idea. So for that reason, I am going to move right here now. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. But I have to loot the place first. So I know this place needs a lockpick. I know it's got quite a few zombies, but I know it's got a weapon as well. So I don't need, like, I need more than one silent weapon. But I mean, one of these weapons is more than enough. I don't think I'm going to need a pebble or a brick. So I think that's more than enough. Okay. And then I can let Kayla, doesn't need to sleep or anything. So it's time for her to see what she can craft. We're going to make... Now, cooking food is important. I do realize cooking food is important. But you get a lot of food from the fire station. Just remember, you are going to get a lot of food from the fire station. But it's not... I'm going to start with the cooking station, guys. Yeah, I'm going to start with the... Like everything is important here. Yeah, then we only need 1 screw for the cooking station. I definitely feel we can do the cooking station next time. We don't need any metal, and that's all that this uses is metal. Okay, so that's good planning ahead. Next time we can definitely craft this. We maybe stole a bit of metal from the weapons bench, but that's fine. You know, we've got enough metal left. So that's a very, very good choice. Right click and let's go to Texway Heart Station. Take the screenshot. Texway Heart Gas. Yeah. Texway Gas Heart. So I usually just go straight for the roof without wasting any time. I basically just quick check this. Like there's food, you see? I just quick check that. And then I jump onto the roof. And that the zombie in front of me never catches me if I just go for it. Like if I take my time, that zombie will probably catch me, but overall the zombie doesn't catch me. See, he's only walking now. So then I save Joe. I don't need to listen to him. I just right click to skip time. And then, you know, extra backpack space, gains extra component from dismantling. Happy to have you. And then I loot this place. See what it has. I'm going to come and live here in any case, so I don't really care. But it's got a lot of base building resources. And then I kill this guy quickly. Apparently, there's no one waiting for me most of the time. Yeah, normal. Most of the time, no one's waiting for me. I just check it. Looks like the usual loot. So most of your base building resources are set. They aren't random. Okay? That's something that I'm noticing. Your guns and your weapon, you know, even most of your weapons are guaranteed. But I know your base building resources are guaranteed because they literally tell you what you're going to get at every location. You know, the amount of loot that you're going to get at every location. So they can't let that be random. Otherwise, how are they going to figure out, you know, what's base building resource and what isn't? Usually on normal, there's just one. So I'm just going to kill this one. And then I always go for the telescope. Just making sure that that's got food in it always. I'm just making sure of that. Okay, fire station and Hackett construction, which is good. We still have to loot all of this to put it in a container. So actually what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start now. Because we have to put everything in a container to count the loot. Then there's usually one waiting downstairs for us with a clue to the network. Okay, that guy's walking away. It's not fair that we can see them, but in any case, we kill this guy. Then that manhole closes because somebody closed it, and we get the first clue to the network. Escape plan. And then he's on his way back. He or she, doesn't really matter. I mean, no rush. I'll just wait for him to turn around completely and then kill him. Or her. Loot right here. There's a lockpick, which is nice. And then there should be one in here. One or two. Like, a lot of the times, the other one climbs over the car. And then that one is stuck on the other side of the car. But it's very easy to check how many of them are here. But on normal, there's usually just one. So it's possible that that one is on the other side of the car. Although, I'm always giving them time because I know how long the route is. So I make sure I don't hear anything. Okay, she's got a striped shirt with short jeans on. If I don't see anyone else coming up behind her, when she turns, then I'm just going to kill her. No one coming, so I'm just going to kill her. I don't even hear anyone coming, so that means all of them are dead. Okay? So then I'm going to loot this. There is a weapon here, the screwdriver. Okay, there is a screwdriver there. But now we have to put all the, we probably have to put all the loot in this little container. So I'm going to put all the loot in this container that I don't need right now. Don't need that right now. Don't need that right now. Don't need that right now. The rest is fine. And then I'm going to open this lock at the counter, which usually gives a gun part, which is the revolver part. Really, really, really nice. Don't need the revolver part right now, so I'm putting that here as well. So putting the revolver part back and the bullets back. I don't know. Can I eat the junk food? How hungry is he? No, let him eat both junk food. His daughter won't be that angry. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we can separate the loot. Okay, so we got 2 wooden boxes, which is literally, if you use it correctly, that's 14 wood. That's a lot. Got 2 gasoline canisters, which can be used for pipe bombs, which is really, really good. Got seeds, medicine herbs, and medicine. So quite a bit of medicine. And then we got quite a bit of building resources. You know, like 6 metal. Clearly, this is a metal place. The previous place we looted had more than 4 wood. This place more than 4 metal. Screws are little. No components. Like, components are very, very important. So we can't make a note that we find components here. You know, but we do get wood here. We do get metal here. We get a little bit of duct tape. We get a little bit of screws. So nothing major. But yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. But I did leave a lot of loot. Yeah, no. I left a lot of loot. Leo, so let me waste time. Like, I'll never do this if I'm playing seriously, but, you know, This is how the people that say they're professionals do it. But I'm not gonna deliver any comments on them. I've learned to stay quiet if I've got nothing positive to say, or I'm trying to stay quiet if I've got nothing positive to say. So let's just see where can we put the food? Let's put all the food and medicine in here. All the food. All the food related items. Okay. Now all the food and medical items. Yeah, that's technically a food item. I don't need to do this because it's a shelter, but we're still doing it because we're doing research. Yeah, we're doing research on how much loot every place has. But doing this at a shelter is really unnecessary because you're going to get all the loot in any case. Okay, so I didn't loot anything upstairs. I looted the garden. I looted the garden upstairs, but I definitely didn't loot the bathroom. And I didn't loot this cabinet over here. And I didn't loot this cabinet over here. There's a component. Okay, so they have got a component here, which is nice. Like again, guys, the way I loot, I would have been done long ago. Even if I come back here with Joe, Joe will be done in 2 seconds. Like, the fact that people watch the worst player that did the perfect run and learn from him is, I don't know, I'm trying my best, guys. I'm trying my best. Okay, so let's just look here. That's basically all baseballing resources. And then we've got the seeds up top. So there's a lot of baseballing resources here. A lot of baseballing resources. Okay, we're basically sitting here with 10 metal, 6 wood, 4 duct tape, 3 cloth, 1 component, 3 screws, 5 duct tape actually, and food, and medical supplies. This is a good place to start. This is a good loot location. That's a really good loot location. And then I've still got seeds. So if you're looking at the seeds, there is a seed up there. So I've got 3 seeds. There's actually 3 seeds at this location. And then, of course, the weapons. But this is random. This is usually random. But I mean, that's 2 pipe bombs. That's a poop ton of loot. And that's a weapon part. You know, you can get a weapon part here. Might be random, but it's still a weapon part. Okay, let's go back to base. And now we're going to move here because we want to utilize all the loot. Although I am taking the building resources back. So I don't technically have to move. No, I have to, because it's nighttime. You start on the 20th of August during the day. So it was the 20th of August, day, night, 21st of August, day, night. So we have spent 4 phases here. Tomorrow, the attacks will become worse. So if you want to save your wood as much as you can, you know, just keep Joe in the green, because he gets unhappy if you don't keep him in the green. You give him a beer just to keep him happy. But basically, Joe only gets, okay? Joe only gets extra morale is lost when hunger is low. Only when it's low. So don't worry. If it's green, you don't pay for it, okay? But now we're going to move to this place. I always do it with the mouse because if I do it with the keyboard, something goes wrong. So I'm going to move with the mouse. There you go. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We are at an hour. I think I can make these episodes at least 30 minutes because I explained what the series was going to be about for 30 minutes. So yeah, I think 30 minutes episode isn't too bad. Okay, I think 30-minute episodes are quite effective. If you guys enjoyed this episode, do me a favor and click the like button. If you've got anything to add to our discussions, please add them. You know, if you're happy with my max 7 survivors with 1 expendable and 1 pilot, if you want to make an argument for any of the other survivors, feel free. I'm probably not going to agree with you, but if you want to make an argument for the survivors that I left out of the list of needed survivors, you know, state your case. Let's have a discussion. If you like this video, click the like button. If you want to see future looting tutorials of all the locations and how I do all the locations, click the subscribe button and the bell button to be notified of future videos. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.